As we continue to see the shift in the gaming industry, we must recognize it for exactly what it is. The change is forcing video game companies to bring their games to more platforms. Right now, the live service games have basically overtaken everything. I mean, look at Fortnite, look at Call of Duty, look at Apex Legends, look at EA Sports games. These games are basically what Tim Sweeney categorizes as generational games, while he says that a lot of these companies are making games, spending more money, growing budgets, and they're not selling as much. Even worse, many of them have hired in their studios people who want to preach to the gamers at such a high cost for the labor. And all of this is going to cascade into a very interesting gaming industry where at some point things need to unravel or will have to shape up to actually pick the small number of gamers who are willing to play these single player games. One of my audience members actually put together a comment here and they said something along the lines of, I don't understand the people that are arguing for exclusivity. You are a consumer and you're for an anti-consumer practices. Really? Everybody should be able to play every game on a platform that fits them best. That's why games from Sony/Microsoft are coming to other platforms is a good thing. Now, I am anti-exclusivity games. I will say that if you're a company, you pay for your game to be developed, in-house studio, second, whatever you want to do, well, you have the right to say, I want to keep this game on my platform. However, money hatting is dirty. It's scummy. It's nasty. Must not be defended by anyone. There is no world in which you will say that that is a good thing, because this is PlayStation's approach to basically destroy Xbox. And you will see something here that I'm going to show you on Twitter. I saw Astro Cyborg. Many of you may or may not know who this is. This individual has been a long time follower of the Video Game Fight School channel, probably one of the early adopters that used to put me in line. Y'all don't even know. I used to be wilder than this, by the way. You got to thank guys like these that basically kept me in line when I was going all nuts and crazy on YouTube. And so I saw somebody's post and it replied and said, looking forward to your Silent Hill 2 remake screenshots and videos on Sunday. Astro Cyborg is basically the 100% trophy hunter. And I don't know, Mortismo Gaming is the other person, but he makes YouTube videos about it. Astro Cyborg basically just gives you his gamer tag on a platform and you go there and you're just like, this is a machine. This is not a human being. Well, what was the post? This individual posted and said, PlayStation did it again. He put Silent Hill 2's Metacritic score and puts it right by, Starfield Shattered Space. Now, it's one thing to say, okay, both, titles have their own individual, strengths and weaknesses in terms of a game. Maybe you can say Starfield Shattered Space DLC is crap. I mean, it's your choice to judge the quality of a game after you've already gone ahead to play the game and assess for yourself. Or maybe you saw something before you even played the game that you didn't necessarily like. That's perfectly fine. But for somebody to sit here and share a game that PlayStation did not make as PlayStation game is one of those particular anti-consumer practices that this audience member of mine is kind of shocked at. You see, let me explain what's going on here. A lot of folk that are championing this stuff, maybe in their mind somewhere they think this is something that's good, something that makes the platform feel valuable. Guys and girls, inside of that Series X and inside of that PS5 is an AMD APU board, like some ugly circuit board that doesn't even look glamorous. I'm telling you, a regular motherboard, like a cheap $30, $40, $50 motherboard that's all black, looks prettier than what you're going to see inside of the PlayStation 5 and the Series X, because they make them green. Oh, there's nothing I hate than the aesthetics of a green circuit board, even though, yes, as a nerd, I have to admit that that color really did originate some of the best and most amazing technical advancements out there. But, we're now in the 2020s, so give us a little bit of black right there or some white, in terms of how your aesthetic should look. At the end of the day, these boxes are just glorified computers that are basically boxed in, but glorified mid to low range computers boxed in a case to make you feel some kind of warmth. They have basically capitalized on our childhood to continue to sell us these boxes, when in reality, by now, the moment you just eventually catch on, You eventually see people start basically either moving to PC or getting a PC counterpart component like a handheld or whatever it is, because that ecosystem is just also so much fun. I'm not saying they probably don't have green boards too. They may have green boards in there, but I'm not going to see it, if you get what I mean. Or even if I see it, I'll close my eyes. But I think what's really important here is the anti-consumer nature of the third-party money hiding is just absolutely nasty, and gamers need to start thinking very carefully about what's going on. Because let me go ahead and let me put this in perspective. If Xbox went on a money hiding spree, do you really think PlayStation will be able to withstand it? I'm just asking you. If Xbox really decided right now that we're going to go ahead and money hack games, like we're going to block those games from going to PlayStation, we're going to pretty much say, okay, let's match PlayStation energy to energy levels. Do y'all really think PlayStation will have any leg to stand on in this market? I mean, they're not even doing it fully. They're doing it in the most clean and most fair way that you can even ever contest. And believe you me, it's already driving PlayStation up the wall. It's exposed PlayStation for being bereft, for being useless in the grand scheme of things when it comes to their own service. And I'm sure some of you may be wondering, what are they doing? They're not even doing anything wrong. They're giving you value to their own customers with Game Pass. And PlayStation has basically run crazy. And Xbox is not even money hiding games anymore. They're not interested. If they took their war chest and went with the money hiding, just give it the rest of this generation. If they decided they were going to start today, October 4th, just for the rest of the generation, let's see how that actually works out for PlayStation. It will be so bad for PlayStation gamers. So PlayStation gamers that are celebrating this stuff, you have to actually consider on the other foot what this may look like. The reason you have games like Starfield locked on the Xbox ecosystem is because of PlayStation. They literally stretched their hands and tried. They reached and said, we're going to try to get this game as a timed exclusive. And Xbox was like, you know how it is when you're about to, eat something during, maybe your wife is cooking something and you're about to, put your hand and eat it. And she's like, don't touch that. I need that to make all this and make all that. That's literally what Xbox was like. Don't finish all the chocolate chips or don't finish all the cookie dough. We got to get some, cookies out here that we need to deliver to the neighbors for Christmas. And so Xbox decided, well, it's okay. This money hiding thing has gone way too far. And the people championing it, like this audience member of mine said, they're consumers. And they're the ones that literally put their feet out there and say, hey, Sony, go ahead and light it up, because they want to play some list wars. And you know what Astro Cyborg is doing in this comment? He's basically calling out these Fugazi people because they're not gamers. They don't play video games. They really do not. So they're being called out. And that's why he said, I look forward to seeing your videos and your screenshots, because they ain't going to play squat. They're just going to sit here and talk about how the game's review score is this and the game's review score is that. That's exactly the problem. So I think what may be going on is a lot of us gamers may be seeing these folk in passing. They be throwing their comments and throwing their posts and their nonsense all over the place. And it's influencing the way we think. And we can't even break away from thinking in a much more progressive way to enable gaming to move forward. Your single player games literally are dying, guys. The single player games that you like. I watched a video today that was done by a gentleman, and he talked about all these single player games are basically competing for about 4 point something to 8% of the market. Everything else has gone to live services. Like really, there really is no one sitting around that wants to play a lot of these single player games other than a few of us out here compared to the general gaming audience who play on their mobile phones, who play live service games, who play games and buy microtransactions. I even have audience members here that are saying like, man, if Xbox would bring in some more, some games that actually allow for them to spend more money, they'll spend more money, because that's the preference overall. And even when they play their single player games, they go back to their live service games because those games do have an attractive side to it. Don't get me wrong. I played The Division, and if The Division brings content that I like, I'm hopping in with my buddies to play the game. So this whole sharing exclusivity, we've got to really address it as some kind of a weird behavior at the end of the day when it comes to the third party side. And get me clear, when it comes to the third party side. And if you see a game that is not going to be exclusive, it needs to be cheered on as a good thing, because these people continue to make it sound like a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. More people can play a video game, possibly the studio gets to do more work and make another video game, that's a good thing. I've never seen such a counterintuitive world as the person who chairs exclusivity. I've never seen it before. It's strange to me, but I thought I'd put it out here in this video. So thanks so much for watching the video. Shout out to my audience member that actually put up this comment. I know many of us are probably feeling the exact same way. And, if you probably, loved exclusivity at one time, maybe your mind is changing because the industry is showing that it's not, in a sense, sustainable more than anything else. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you all so much. Talk to me in the comment section. Peace out.